Welcome. My name is Pamela H. Bender, and a lot of my readers said that they would like to have me read a section of the book on tape. Thank you for that encouragement, and I'll be doing that for the next few minutes. So sit back and get ready for an adventure. I'm taking you right into the middle of an exciting scene that takes place in Aurora's glow. Aurora spoke into the phone. "I'm outside Rusty's house." Two suspicious characters pulled up and cleared out a path in the back. They cut off the paddock on the cellar stairs, and now they're stripping pipes out of her house. "Why would they do that?" Aurora whispered. "Because the pipes are copper. Rusty's house is one of the old originals. It has copper pipes and copper wiring. They'll strip it all. They must be the guys who've been doing it all over our city. They're in and out before anyone knows what happened. Get out of there. I'll call the police," he yelled. "You do that and tell them I'll make sure they're still here when they come," she said before hanging up. Aurora hadn't been this angry since the day the IED exploded under her Humvee. She recognized her body's reaction to her fury, knew it was going into warrior state. She let it happen just as she had been trained. The adrenaline rushed through her body, her senses sharpening, the hair on her arms standing up. Her cardiovascular system pumped quicker, bringing oxygen and increasing the pressure of her blood. Her respiratory system opened up and her breathing rate increased, giving the increased blood flow the oxygen it needed to carry to her muscles. Her natural judgment system had turned down, and she reacted with the primitive responses best used in battle. Aurora used the bounce in her aerobic snowshoes to run across the surface toward their vehicle. Opening the truck door, she saw keys hanging in the ignition to ensure a quick getaway. Following her first impulse, she yanked them free, turned, and flung them into the yard. She watched as the keys fell 10 feet away before disappearing beneath the snow. The loud clanking of pipe against the cement drew her eyes to the two open cellar doors. "They're brutalizing Rusty's house, yanking out its circular system," she seethed. "I've got to close and lock the doors." She spotted the end of a chain, the sliced paddock still hooked to one link. She turned to the back of the truck and grabbed a piece of pipe lying among the other junk. Aurora ran toward the cellar, yanked the chain out of the snow, and slammed the steel doors shut. Motivated by their footsteps on the stairs, she shoved the chain through the two metal handles and slid the piece of pipe through two links, locking the chain in place. Instinct now dictating her movements, Aurora moved toward the house. She bent, released the locks on her snowshoes, climbed the 3 steps up the porch, and walked directly to the back window. Her hand reached behind the shutter while praying Rusty hadn't changed her hiding place. When her fingers felt the key, Aurora slipped it free and ran to the kitchen door. The men were now banging on the steel doors, the chain slightly moving. She studied it, deciding, "It'll hold. It's good." Aurora inserted a key and opened the back door. Once inside, she ran through the kitchen to the wooden door that led down to the basement. It was locked, and someone had installed an additional bolt lock. "That's good," she thought, as relief flowed through her. Hearing her footsteps over their heads, one man yelled, "Who's up there? Let us out." "We will, right after my backup gets here," Aurora explained. "We're fixing the plumbing," one man yelled, as he ran across the basement and up the staircase to the main house. "Yeah, and I'm baking a cake," Aurora screamed back. The man tried the lock. She could see it moving. The handle stopped moving, and she heard his shoulder slam against the door. It held. "Get up here," he yelled to the other man. The two men threw their shoulders against the door. It held but almost gave way. Aurora stepped back and looked around, realizing that some furniture had been left behind. She grabbed a kitchen chair and propped it under the doorknob. She was relieved to hear them run down the steps. "Your cats are down here. I'm allergic. I can't breathe," one yelled. "They're not my cats," Aurora answered. "You better sit and rest till the cops come." She listened and heard the helpless squeal of a cat as it was flung against the wooden door. She heard the animal slide down the door and bounce down the steps. "That was a mom," one yelled. "Shall we kill her kittens?" "Good luck finding them in the dark," Aurora said, before seeing the glow of the flashlight shine under the door. Deflect, she thought. Get their minds off the cats. "They're strays. I'm not a fan of cats," Aurora bluffed. "But Jeff's really into them. You kill any more and Jeff will throw you around and break a few of your bones," she lied. She closed her eyes, picturing Jeff in full combat gear, bent over, feeding stray dogs on base in Afghanistan. The last conversation she had had with the young soldier had been a reprimand. The dogs were following him to their work site, creating a dangerous situation around the welding torches. She covered her face with her hands. The vision of him blown apart flashed before her eyes, just as another cat bounced off the door, its small shriek evidence it was a kitten. Aurora picked up the phone and called Blake. "How long before the backup gets here?" she asked. "The police are on the way. Get the hell out of there," Blake ordered. "Good," she yelled into the phone. "I'll tell the two assholes in the basement you're on the way. Hear me down there? You'll be out very soon." "Up you," one yelled. "We're not going back to prison." "No other way out," Aurora warned, just before the gunshot blast. Instinct protected her. She hit the floor, dropped the phone, and heard Blake screaming, "Aurora, are you hit?" She ignored the phone, pulling herself along the floor as if she was in an obstacle course. She thought she heard sirens before the room erupted with the sound of repeating gunshots and splintering wood. Aurora kept moving, hauling herself out of the kitchen into the dining room. Once there, she moved quickly toward the closet where Rusty always hung her linen tablecloths. It had been one of her favorite hiding places when she was a kid. Aurora crawled in, shut the door, and closed her eyes. She felt her body shaking, and then her own warm blood seeping from a wound on her shoulder. "Damn it," she thought. "Now both my shoulders will be scarred."